Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mark Pennak, the President of Maryland Show Issue. You have before you my 4 pages legal analysis. I'm a lawyer and have been for 40-some years, and I practiced in the Department of Justice on these kind of issues for 30 of those years. Mr. Chairman, you're quite correct. The Fourth Circuit has spoken on the question in the Willard decision, and the D.C. Circuit has gone in direct conflict with that. We're going to get a Supreme Court case out of that because that's a conflict in the circuits, and my organization may well be the plaintiff in that. So it's just a matter of time before that split is presented to the Supreme Court. The D.C. and the Wren case, also discussed in my memorandum, declined to go to the Supreme Court, even though its petition for certiorari would have surely been granted. And it did so because it was afraid of how the Supreme Court would rule. Of course, it was D.C. that led to the Heller decision in the first place. The Supreme Court is going to rule on this, and we're quite confident we will prevail. But we don't even have to get into whether or not future litigation will invalidate the Maryland requirement, because national reciprocity, when it's enacted, and you have the analysis on that as well, it's going to basically render Maryland's requirements a dead letter, because every person in a shell issue state will be able to legally carry in Maryland without regard to Maryland's laws. Every person in constitutional carry, including West Virginia, nearby, will be able to carry in Maryland without regard to Maryland's laws. Maryland residents can get a non-resident permit from any other state offering them and carry in Maryland without regard to Maryland's laws. It's going to render Maryland's requirements basically unusable because no one will resort to them. If the state wishes to have its residents employ the background checks, the training, and all the other requirements of Maryland law, then this state has to become Maryland, should become shell issue, because no one will use Maryland's laws to carry. I would urge you to a favorable report on this, if only to keep Maryland's laws from being a dead letter. Anybody who would like to have the training and likes the background checks and likes all the other requirements, including the one that was just discussed about people inclined to violence, should support this legislation.